Chapter 9 of Just Stories, the Kind That Never Grow Old by Francis J. Finn, S.J. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. His Throne. It's a beautiful legend, and one that has been inimitably told in verse. I am retelling it because we see that throne so often and everywhere, and yet forget what a glorious throne it is. When Jesus was a boy at Nazareth, a Roman lad once addressed him as he sat beside the well, all absorbed in thoughts of great events to be. Fidus was his name. "I seek Joseph the carpenter," he said. "From him I would learn the arts of his craft." "I can lead thee to him," answered the boy, "for I am called the son of Joseph." And he took him to his foster father. So Fidus remained and learnt the carpenter's trade. Many the quiet walks the Roman youth had with the boy of Nazareth, who spoke to him in heavenly wise of a great king, who was one day to be raised upon a throne so high that Jews and Romans and all the world might see. Then Fidus would exclaim in ardent longing, "Would that I, having become proficient in the school of Joseph, might build the exalted throne of that great king." Until one day the Christ, with outstretched arms that cast behind him the shadow of a cross, made him a promise. "Fidus," said he, "thou shalt build the throne of the great king in a future day, the throne from which he shall rule the nations. I promise thee." Years passed. Fidus had returned to distant Jaffa, where he exercised his well-learnt trade with honor among the Romans. And then came a day when duty called him to Jerusalem. That day vast multitudes were in wild commotion in and around the Jewish capital. And the Roman heard dark threatening cries of "Crucify him!" and "He maketh himself a king!" What could it all mean? He recalled, he had never forgotten, the promise of the prophet boy, "Thou shalt build the throne. I promise thee." He was at the gates of Pilate's palace now. "Fidus," exclaimed a Roman soldier who knew him and his skill in the craft of wood, "thou art welcome. Even now I hear that 3 are to be crucified today, and but 2 crosses are prepared." And Fidus made a cross, putting all his art into the making, for it behooved him to show his superior craftsmanship. And when it was finished he gazed upon it with an artisan's honest pride. He went up a darkened hill outside the city that truly awful afternoon, and he heard a voice, the voice of him who had said, "Thou shalt build the throne. I promise thee." And he gazed in astonishment upon the writhing figure fastened to the cross he had made. No, he could never mistake those features so fair. It was a Nazareth's boy, now grown to man's estate. So that was the throne. It was raised high so that Jews and Romans and all the world might see. And his eyes were opened. Jesus is the great King, and from the throne of the cross he rules the hearts of men today. End of chapter 9.